Hey, welcome in. Okay, well, here's the headline. Joe Rogan slams current liberals who now want censorship and are people that are intolerant to other people's ideas. So is that it? Have we finally all figured it out? The vast majority of people calling themselves liberals are not liberal? If so, good. Took long enough. But I think that most of us had already figured this out. I think Joe Rogan had already figured it out as well. Yeah, because, the people who want to destroy your life because you just have some questions about, this giant social experiment that they're determined to do on every child in the Western world. Yeah, those people, they're a little different than your old hippie uncle. So what's going on here? Joe Rogan said that what it means to be a liberal has changed, arguing that the term has come to be all about, quote, people that want censorship and people that are intolerant of other people's ideas. I mean, we see things like this from the liberal Bible, the New York Times. New York Times op-ed calls for more censorship in order to protect democracy. Here's Max Boot, who writes for the Washington Post, who's very worried about Elon Musk taking over Twitter. He says, I am frightened by the impact on society and politics if Elon Musk acquires Twitter. He seems to believe that on social media, anything goes. For democracy to survive, we need more content moderation, not less. And of course, by content moderation, what he means is everything he doesn't like should be banned. So it's really the same thing, isn't it? People that want censorship and people that are intolerant of other people's ideas. And this is completely normal for many people who call themselves liberals. Anyway, during the Joe Rogan Experience podcast on Tuesday, Rogan spoke to his guest, MMA fighter Jake Shields. Now, MMA fighters tend to be pretty based, I will say. But anyway, Rogan definitely sounded like he was unsure exactly what group he belonged in anymore, because he said he had identified his whole life as a liberal. He explained that being liberal now means thinking it's fine to insult people and to be, really aggressive to them. Now, I do think, actually, it is fine to insult people. I mean, that is part of free speech. If you can't insult anybody, well, you don't have free speech. I mean, people should not have the right to not be offended. But I do think it's fair to say that the left has gone completely crazy in terms of the level of insult and the aggressiveness, and it's because they're not policed. Conservatives are policed. They do have to be careful. Leftists can just say anything. It doesn't matter. The people who run the platforms like YouTube or Facebook or Twitter seem to have the same, by any means necessary attitude that the modern left does. And by the way, by any means necessary, that ain't liberal. Just putting that out there. Anyway, his guest agreed and said, current liberals have turned really weird. Yeah, I think that's an understatement. And he added, they seem a lot more intolerant. Anyway, Rogan said, my parents were hippies. It's like there's a difference between what liberal meant then and what it includes now. Yes. And then his guest interjected and said it appeared that they believed it was acceptable to physically attack a person too. He said he first started following politics after a visit to Berkeley, California, recalling that, quote, Antifa were there, beating people up over Milo Yiannopoulos' speech. Yeah, I remember thinking at the time, this is stuff the media can't just keep sweeping this under the rug forever. Turns out I was wrong. Anyway, Rogan said that during former President Trump's time in office, Antifa and militant activists were tolerated by people on the left. And he added that at times they had seemed to be the thug branch of the left. So tolerated by people on the left. I mean, like this.
The theme here is, I'm Donald Trump and I'll protect you from the scary black people. Antifa is widely perceived as an African-American organization, and this is just part of the same story of LeBron James and Don Lemon and Maxine Waters and the NFL players and the UCLA basketball players. This is about black versus white. This is about Donald Trump's appeal to racism. And
so I don't know if Jeffrey Toobin was wearing pants in that clip, but one thing I can say is that absolutely nobody thinks that Antifa is a black movement. Everybody knows that Antifa is a bunch of white far leftists. Now, either Toobin is an idiot, or he thinks that we're idiots. Or I suppose possibly both. But while we're at CNN, how about this?
American history.
It says it right in the name, Antifa, anti-fascism, which is what they were there fighting. Listen, there's, no organization is perfect.
And again, either Don Lemon is an idiot, or he thinks that we're idiots. And yes, it is probably both. Now, there are real liberals out there. You think of like a Brett Weinstein or like a Steven Pink or somebody like that. There's just not very many of them. And people calling themselves liberals think that they're like the bad guys from World War II. Because in modern usage, liberal, it doesn't mean what it meant 20 years ago. Personally, I think that if you're a real liberal, you should just abandon the word liberal because you're just being thrown in with a bad bunch at this point. And the left hates you. They think that you're far right. So if you're a real liberal now, you don't belong in the group that calls itself liberal. That's your problem right now. You have an identity crisis. Because if you speak your mind to the other people calling themselves liberals, they will attack you and hate you. Oh, and they also want to brainwash your kids to hate you as well. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Please subscribe, like, and share. That really helps me out. If you just like to listen, there's the audio-only version. It's on pretty much every platform. If you look for it, you will find it. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.